Hello, hi, holiboli. Valeria here, welcome. If you have seen some of my previous videos, which you probably haven't, you'd know that I live in Australia, but I'm actually not Australian. I actually moved here in early 2020. I was born and raised in Peru, which is in South America, if you don't know. Having moved to a country that is literally on the other side of the world, has a different language, and for some reason everything is on the other side, I always end up talking with friends and family about all the differences between the two countries. And that also applies to Lolita fashion. So today I'm going to talk about the things I find different, or basically how it compares wearing the fashion here than in Peru. For that, I've prepared 5 topics and hopefully they are of some interest. Just a little disclaimer, my experiences do not invalidate the ones of other Lolitas, both here in Australia or back in Peru. This is just a personal account, and as always, it might differ from what anyone else has experienced. With that out of the way, let's go into the video. I actually find that I'm able to spend more in Lolita fashion here than in Peru. Australia is a country that is recognized for paying the workers very well. I'm very lucky that I found a role in the same industry I was working on in Peru. Of course, how much you're able to spend in Lolita fashion will depend on your really personal circumstances. However, I do feel that if you live in a country with a stronger currency, it's going to give you an advantage when it comes to saving for this sort of stuff. Let's put it this way. Every Australian dollar I'm able to save for Lolita fashion equals around 81.77 yen, whereas in Peru, every Peruvian sol I'm able to save equals around 27.79 yen. So there is quite a difference there. Therefore, if you are in Peru, you have to save more for that angelic pretty release. Things, of course, are not that simple. You also have to consider the cost of living. Here in Australia, especially in Sydney, where I live at, it's extremely expensive. Housing, grocery shopping, every week. My husband and I cannot understand how 2 people and 2 dogs can spend so much on groceries. And I actually have to stop myself from converting how much everything is here compared to in Peru, because stuff like vegetables, fruit are so much cheaper. So sometimes I find like I don't want to buy stuff because of that reason. I do feel like Lolitas here spend more in the fashion than the ones in Peru. However, of course, that it's always going to depend on everyone's personal circumstances. In my case, I've been shopping a lot, but I used to shop a lot in Peru as well. I might need to go on a shopping one though. Yeah. The safety topic is never a fun topic if you are from South America. It's just what it is. One of the very first things I was told when I moved here was how jumpy I was if someone approached me to talk to me or anything. Of course, there is some sketchy areas here in Sydney. I'm very lucky that I live in a very quiet area. It's on the southwest of Sydney, but on the outskirts. So it's more like farm area, very quiet neighborhood, not much goes on here. So I'm able to spend very quiet days, especially now that we are in lockdown again. It's extremely quiet. Meetups are normally in the city, on what we call the CBD, and I also wear Lolita to work sometimes, at least when we used to go to the office. And my office is in North Sydney, so once again it's a place where normally nothing much happens. And one of the most curious things for me was that everyone here, or at least in the places I normally go to, they go around with their cell phones on their hands and with their purses loosely hanging from their shoulders. And the reason is because that's so not recommended in Peru. There is quite a lot of petty crime. So back home, every time I was wearing Lolita, or if I was going out all dressed up, Lolita or not, it was quite a huge deal for my family. I used to live in the outskirts of Lima, the capital of Peru. For some reason, I always live in the outskirts of everything. I don't know why. But anyway, as I was saying, it was a huge deal for my family. I wouldn't go out on my own. I would always order a cab, or my dad would drive me to the meetup, or I would take my clothes in my bag and then I would change at the venue, or I would go to a friend's house that was closer to the event and then would go all together from there. And after the event, I would change. And basically, it was just a way of not making yourself a target. Sadly, if you are a woman or member of the LGBT community, the risks are higher. You can get, best case scenario, you would only get your personal items taken away from you, but daily we would hear news of girls being raped, killed. So that was something that really freaked out my mom a lot. And this goes beyond wearing an alternative fashion. Sadly, it's just across. Here in Australia, however, if I want to go to a meetup, my husband normally just drives me to the train station because we don't have one in our little area, and from there I just go on my own. And so far I'm very lucky that nothing has happened to me. The only time I've gotten catcalled was when I was going to a job interview in a not so pretty area, and I wasn't even wearing Lolita. So I do feel safer here. It doesn't mean that you don't have to be wary of your surroundings, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just the feeling is different. I feel that wherever you go, we can agree that all the women and kids, little girls at least, are going to really like the fashion. Due to COVID and lockdowns, I haven't been out much here in Australia. But every time I've been to a dinner or lunch, just going out to eat with my husband and his family, or when I've been to meetups, I've normally just received quite nice comments. That's embarrassing. But yeah, every time I've been stopped so far, it's been to tell me, oh, I like your purse, or I like your hair accessories, or something like that. So I've been really lucky, I guess. I have heard some horror stories of people just saying rude remarks, which was actually the normal thing in Peru. Back home, maybe because people cannot take their cell phones out due to the risk of it being stolen, the normal approach was to yell stuff at you. You know, the normal stuff like, it's not Halloween, or more localized ones, you look like La Chola Chabuca. I find that here in Australia, at least to the meets I've been to, it's more about people taking their cell phones out and trying to snatch a picture, which is quite annoying because you don't know what they're going to do with that picture, who they're going to show it to. Why do they need a picture? I don't know why people need a picture. So anyway, every time I've been to a meetup here and we are all in the open, what would happen is that we'd have to form a circle and just like give our backs to the people that are around us. And there hasn't been a meetup in which one of the girls has had to ask the public to please not take pictures. It's like, yeah, we look weird, but it's not a freak show, you know? I do feel, however, that Lolita here is not as outlandish as it is in Peru, and I feel the reason is because here people are more open to more alternative styles. I've seen more gothic, punk looking Lolitas and all the people with colored hair in the wild than I have seen in all my life in Peru, and I lived there for 29 years. So I feel that people are more responsive to odd looking fashions, especially in the city center. Maybe not so much in the outskirts and famished areas like the one I live at, where they're always looking at me like, you are way too dressed up. In Peru, all the people don't experiment that much with their hair colors. I remember I used to see a lady with green hair and I was so happy every time I saw her. because it was just so different. People stick to normal hair colors, and if you wear a sort of alternative fashion, you are immediately going to gather attention to you because it's so not common. So in general, I feel that Peru is a bit more conservative when it comes to fashion, and here in Australia people are more open and freer to experiment with it. But of course there is rude people everywhere, so some are going to try to get a photo of you. I guess at some point in my life, when everything goes back to normal and I go out more, I'm going to receive more comments about the fashion I'm wearing. I was always quite sad in Peru because we didn't have a quite strong tea culture, at least in Lima. It did become better with the years, and we were blessed with this amazing, beautiful tea house that served high tea, and it was just so pretty. It looked like a sort of antique house. It was all white, and all the servers were wearing like French-made sort of outfits. It was so cute. Other than that, it was mostly hotels that would offer this sort of service, but it was always so expensive, and they didn't have like the right decoration that you are looking for as a Lolita. Here in Australia though, oh my god, I love it. There is so many tea houses. I particularly love the QVB tea room at the Queen Victoria building. Is just so pretty and so champagne and pink and stuff. And there is also this really pretty like rustic restaurant in Parramatta in the main park, and it's just so adorable. And for some reason here they used a lot of flowers for the food, and it just looks so pretty and yummy, and it's fantastic. As a good Peruvian though, I feel the necessity to say this: food in Peru is better, okay? And I will take pan con chicharrón any day over high tea. Sorry, had to be said. When it comes to the Lolita community in Peru, I feel that you are basically talking to the main one in Lima, Loli Mafia. And the reason is because it's such a centralized country in every aspect. It's quite normal to expect that the majority of people that are going to get into these sort of things are going to be in Lima. I do know there is a community in Arequipa which are also very lovely and adorable, but I don't know of any other like communities. Guess there is Lolitas scattered around, but nothing as big. But if you are interested, do check them out. I'll try to leave some links on the description box. But yeah, basically all the main events are organized by Loli Mafia. There used to be more little groups in Lima. I even had one with my friends, but I don't know if they're active at the moment. If someone knows, please leave a comment below. Here in Australia though, oh my gosh, there is so many Lolitas. There is the main community, like the Australia Lolita community, and then there is communities in every state. Because Australia is so big and the distances are so far away that it's only fair that people in every state have their own community. So there is the Brisbane Lolita community, the Perth Lolita community, Melbourne Lolita community, and in Sydney we have two communities. I go to the events that both of them organize. I don't discriminate, I just want to enjoy, and I don't know anyone here, so it's a good way for me to make friends and meet more people. As I was saying before, we are in lockdown though, again, so all events have been halted for the moment. I hope that once we are free again and back to normal, we are able to go to more meetups. And that's it. If you're curious about any of the detail, please feel free to reach out. I don't mind. You can leave a comment or you can text me, I guess. I hope this was somewhat interesting. And I'll see you on the next one. Ciao!